everybody, what's up? Ultramag64 here. And today, guys, it is time for yet another fantastic episode of the My Little Pony game from Gameloft! And now this is episode 60! So you know what that means, it's time for another friendship live stream, so I'll be scheduling that sometime in the near future. But what's even more important is that this episode is the first episode after Season 6's premiere. So, you also know what that means. I'm going to talk about Season 6. Now, usually I make these into my thoughts, but since I technically can't do those anymore because of copyright and all that jazz, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to talk about it anyway, because reasons. So, anyway, last Saturday, we got the My Little Pony, darn it, I almost said My Little Pony game from Gameloft. That's not the thing we got. We've had that. That's in our homes the entire time. It's watching us, constantly. But anyway, what we did get is the premiere of Season 6 from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Now this centered around a baby named Flurry Heart. And yes, I'm going to spoil a lot. So if you don't want to watch this, then I suggest you go watch the episodes. That's right, there's 2 episodes, as is the norm for, season premieres. I suggest you go watch those, then watch this, because I'm about to spoil everything. And I'm also about to spoil some things most people probably didn't know, because I'm a keen eye like that, and I saw some things that might be interesting and might explain a few things. So anyway, the gang decides, it's been like at least 9 months since the end of Season 5. And Starlight's gotten into the groove of being with the main 6 and all that, and then Cadence has her babby, and then they're going to the Crystal Empire, and they're also going to go and reunite Starlight with her, star-crossed lover/friend. We all know what's happening. We all know they're going to ship... The shipping train is leaving the station, and Starlight, Glimmer, and... What's that guy's name? That guy are totally on it. We all know it. We all know it. I'm not a shipper, but I totally was like, oh yeah, the fandom's gonna ship them too, like there's no tomorrow. But anyway, so what they decided to do was they decided, you know what, we're going to hit 2 birds with 1 stone. I hate that phrase, but I can't think of any other. So they decided, guess what? We're gonna take you along for the ride, and we're gonna reunite you with your friend. Yeah! And Starlight's like, yeah, no? Anyway, I'm gonna interrupt myself for a minute. We've got Magic Night. I'm not even gonna make jokes because I've got so much to talk about. Dusty Days. I swear if there's a daisy, I'm gonna scream. Peachy Music, Mr. Music, Pinky Days, Golden Music, Carolina Fedora, what? Okay. Honey Cake, Main Pie, Shipping Night, or Shining Night. Gosh darn it, shipping's in my brain now. Thanks a lot, fandom. Anyway, we're also going to look at the gifts we got. Oh, sweet, thank you, Nurse Pie, you're amazing. And thank you, Apple Knight. You're also amazing. And I think that's about it. Oh, no, never mind. Thank you, Prince Cookie. And thank you, Cheese Days. Okay, now I think that... Oh, never mind. Granny Cake, thank you. Oh, Granny Cake got us some more, because they love us, apparently, or something. Joe Cake, thank you. Thank you, Joe Cake. Okay, we're done. Fabulous. How many gems do we... Oh my gosh, we have 180. What can we do with those wonderful gems, you might ask? Well, we're about to find out. But anyway, back to the main topic of this show. That being the show. So anyway, so they decided to go to the Crystal Empire and all the baby things happen. And they're like, hey, you know what? This baby's an Alicorn. Oh, huh. I didn't know that there were Alicorn babies that could be made naturally through birth. Huh. Gee willikers. It's almost like 2 Earth ponies can't give birth to a Pegasi and a Unicorn. I don't know. What is more interesting, though, is that Luna and Celestia didn't even know. So that begs to that answers the question, were they natural Alicorns? Apparently not. So that brings me to yet another question. Who the heck made Alicorns in the first place, then? Because that doesn't make sense. That doesn't add up. Like, I figured that they were part of the natural-born Alicorn race, and they were like the last two of their kind or whatever, or something happened. Basically, something happened, and they were the last two. Apparently not. So yeah, that is a thing that's happened, and yeah, it's interesting and confusing, and I don't know if we'll ever get answers. Probably not. We'll probably never understand what the heck's happened. And it'll just be the thing that's not talked about. Speaking of which, Luna and Celestia totally aren't helpful at all in these episodes, which is sad, because they totally should be helpful, but they're not! Darn it, I went to the wrong thing. Alright, anyway, let's see, what else happened? The crystal heart got shattered by a baby's crying. Granted, it was an Alicorn baby crying with magic and stuff, so yeah. But what was more interesting, and what I kind of found that was a lot better in this episode, is that, like, it wasn't so much a focus on the baby. Like, the baby was part of the equation, but the main focus was on Starlight and her long-lost friend getting back together and you know, trying to get over things. And I guarantee you that guy was a magic school dropout. I guarantee you, because it's like the way he talked, the way he did things, it just screamed, I dropped out. And, you know, I mean, maybe he didn't drop out, maybe he flunked out, which would be more likely, because he said that he had all this knowledge but couldn't use it, which is interesting. I guess he doesn't, like that made me think, like, okay, maybe Starlight's not this amazing, you know, talented unicorn with all the magics and stuff, but I'd still say she is, because, like, her friend doesn't have nearly as much, like, he can't travel through time like she can. Like, she traveled through time. Like, even Twilight Sparkle can't, well, Twilight Sparkle did do that, but point is, I still say that Starlight Glimmer is, like, Alicorn material. Which is gonna be weird, because then we'll have, like, too many Alicorns. We'll have Sunset, we'll have Starlight, we'll have Twilight, we'll have Celestia, Luna, Cadence, Flurry, Heart. We've got, like, 7 Alicorns right now, and we're just getting started. Oh no. No. Let's curb that population control right there. There'll be way too many Alicorns to be doing things with. And plus, where's Starlight even gonna go? Is she gonna go back to Equality Town and make a giant castle there? I mean, I guess she can do that. I hope she doesn't, but I guess. If she really wants to. But yeah, anyway, let's see, what else happened? Oh yeah, Crystal Empire. We got a little bit more information on the Crystal Empire, basically the crystalling. And apparently that's a thing that it happens regularly? I didn't know that. That's interesting that, like, the guy, I still can't remember his name. I'm sorry. He's only been in, like, 2 episodes. I'm sorry I can't automatically remember his name. But, he basically becomes a crystaller, and he, like, I guess is technically a preacher now, because he like, I guess technically baptizes babies? I don't know what to call this. Crystallizes babies? I guess? And it happens each time, I believe it's each time a baby is, a crystal baby's born. Now granted, I've only watched the episodes like once, so my memory might be a little foggy on the details, but I believe that he said that, like, each time a crystal baby is born, they have to add a piece to the crystal heart. That, or it could be a royal baby. I'm not I don't recall exactly what happens. But that is interesting that we got a little bit more of the Crystal Empire, and it's kind of sad because we're probably not going to see much of it because of, well, the fact that this season's main theme is Explore Equestria. And, you know, we're probably going to see a lot more new places, but by the same token, the Crystal Empire is probably going to once again become kind of just a thing that's there, and we don't learn much about. Like, it's really sad that the Crystal Empire is this wonderful place that has so much potential for, like, crazy lore and stuff. And yet we see none of it because it just never is shown. Like, we're probably not going to see much of Flurryheart. Or that other guy. Probably. Granted. Probably. But it's just kind of like, why? Why do we even have this place if we don't use it? It's just kind of there in the background. It's like a background horse, except not as enjoyable to look at. Speaking of background, something you guys might not have noticed, and if you're not an eagle-eyed viewer like myself, there was a changeling in the background. Now, if you don't know traditional changeling mythology and stuff, I believe they were Greek mythology. And basically, they took babies and turned them, like, they left a changeling baby in place of a real baby. They basically stole the baby, and the changeling would feed off the parents' love over years, and then, I believe, kill them? I think. I'm not entirely 100% sure. My mythology's a little bit foggy on changelings. But that does bring up an interesting topic. Because, I mean, granted, like, the episode, like, the baby in the episode that happened totally was Flurryheart. Because they have Alicorn abilities. But what if Chrysalis, like, found out about the baby? I mean, come on, how hard can it be to find out about a Crystal Empire baby that's an Alicorn, no less, that's born into the world, you know? And granted, we haven't seen much of Chrysalis, like, in terms of actually, you know, in actual reality, you know, not alternate realities where she's a jungle huntress or whatever. Or predator, I guess. But anyway, so that brought up an interesting question, and I'm actually going to put a screenshot of the changeling up for you guys to see, so that, you know, I'm not lying. But that brings up an interesting question. What if, after the magic was sealed, what if the baby got, like, changed, like, swapped out? What if the baby is now a changeling, and Flurryheart's actually on, like, the changeling side, and nobody knows? And then, we're gonna find... Because it's like, they've been really good at making subtle details in the background that nobody's gonna notice. Like, for instance, Starlight Glimmer being in the background of Season 5 for many of the episodes, at least. And so, it's like, okay, that could be a neat little minor thing, but what if it's not? Now, another thing that crossed my mind was that, oh, well, it could just be a scout saying, hey, this baby's been born, and I gotta report back to Chrysalis. And then an entire, like, war is gonna break out over this baby, or something. Because, I mean, Alicorn baby, probably pretty strong. Probably a really good asset for war. So, you know, whoever gets to take that and then raise it and make it a weapon is probably going to be pretty well off. Pretty well off, especially if it's a strong Alicorn, which we don't know if Flurryheart will be a strong Alicorn. We don't know. We also don't know how long it takes for a Flurryheart to grow. Because, I mean, think about it. Celestia and Luna have been around for 1,000 years. Now, granted, at least Faust, or I believe it was either Faust or M.A. Larson said that Twilight isn't immortal. But they never said that Twilight ages any differently than any other pony now. Now, granted, she was turned into an Alicorn by Celestia, so the rules may not apply to her. Which, again, brings up questions because Celestia and Luna are 1,000+ years old, and that they weren't originally born Alicorns, so that brings in more questions. But whatever, we're gonna take the simple route here, and just say that maybe a naturally born Alicorn ages slower than a normal pony. I don't think that's true. I think that they're probably gonna make the baby grow as a normal horse does, I guess, which, okay, fine, but you still I don't understand how Celestia and Luna are able to be, whatever. Point is that it's a big mess. There's a lot of things I want to answered, and none of them are probably ever going to be answered. But it's just interesting. It's interesting, and I want to know more about this little horse. I want to know more about this little horse, and we're probably not going to get any more because they don't. They're probably not going to. We're not going to see the Crystal Empire. Maybe Cadence and Shining Arm will come to different areas, and maybe they'll come in and be there, but we never know. We just don't know. Now, one thing that is interesting is that they couldn't, like, the tracks for apparently the train were frozen over sometime during the blizzard. And they were like, well, gee willikers, I guess we better head to the tracks before they freeze over. But what about that crystal train? That crystal train looked pretty, like, beefed up and ready to roll. I'm pretty sure you could just plow through ice and snow with that thing. I know they've got special trains that do that. I imagine. Okay, I don't know for surezies, but I'm pretty sure that exists somewhere. And, considering the fact that, you live up in the frozen north, and snow and ice are kind of a thing that happen, you'd think you would probably build a train that could, get through ice and snow pretty easy? You'd think, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just insane, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm pretty sure I do. Just saying. Just saying that I'm pretty sure. I'm 95% sure that you probably need to think about that in the future. Just be like, oh yeah, we should probably put some things in here that allow us to get out in case of an emergency or a blizzard. Because that crystal heart, it's a fragile thing. That could break any time. In fact, someone could break it. Like Sombra once did. Well, technically Sombra didn't break it, but he did turn a pony into crystal with it, and then destroyed it, which, harsh. Still love him though. But yeah, that's just kind of the neat little things I noticed when I was watching the episodes. There was I can't think of anything else that happened. Let me think. Well, actually, there is one thing. The lesson. Now, the lesson here actually kind of feels more adult than a lot of other lessons, like, don't steal from people, or, don't idolize your heroes, etc. Although that, I could argue, would be something that even adults need to learn. Never meet your idols, kids. Never meet your idols. They're always a disappointment. But anyway, the lesson was, about teaching, and about how a teacher needs to give their students space to try and learn on their own. And that, I was like, that can't be applied to kids. Like that's something, as someone who's worked in retail and trained people, I've had to learn that, the hard way, where it's like, okay, I need to back off and let, this guy make his own mistakes and learn from them, and then I'll be but I have to be there to make sure that if they do make mistakes, I have to be there to help them see that they made a mistake and then correct it for them. Or, etc. Being a teacher's hard, basically. You don't want to do it unless you know what you're doing. And I never claimed I know what I'm doing, so, when people make me train people, it's like, oh, well, okay, I'll do my best. Yay! So, but yeah, it was a very interesting lesson. It's like, that's quite adult. Huh. Interesting. So I'm interested to see if we see more, maybe not necessarily adult-oriented things, because, granted, a lot of lessons that are taught in the show can be, applied to adult life, even though, they're, it's usually targeted for kids. And sometimes we do get those deeper, actually adult-oriented lessons. Because, again, it's a family show. It's not just for kids. I think we've debunked that over 4 seasons now, or 5 seasons now. Sorry, I forgot we're on season 6 now. So I feel like, we probably are in the stage where it's like, yeah, this is a show that everyone can learn from and everyone can use. And it's interesting to see. I'm really interested to see if we see more, like, grown-up style, lessons in this season. It'd be really interesting to see. Especially because, like, kids nowadays are getting more mature, and, you know, the kids back from 2010 are grown up. That it's been, like, 6 years now or so. So, I mean, most of them, like, if they were, like, 10 years old, now they're 16, and maybe they still watch. You never know. You know, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I ain't your nanny. I ain't gonna tell you how to live your life. Look at me. I'm poking ponies all day. But yeah, it's interesting how the show's done a really good job of growing with its fan base. Not to say, you know, it's not just a brony fest now, but it is trying to be more mature. And I'm interested to see what the I don't know what's that called, Guardians of Equestria is going to be like. Yeah, Guardians of Equestria, I think it's called. I'm interested to see how that turns out, because it's like that is supposed to be a more, I don't want to say male-oriented, because it's again, it's a family show, but it's supposed to be meant for an older demographic. And so I'm interested to see what they do to make that more of a thing. Now, granted, we don't know if it's going to be an animated thing. I believe they said they were going to do comics, but I don't think they were going to do an animated TV show spin-off series thing yet. So we'll see what happens. Sadly, this season, M.A. Larson's not joining us. A couple of other writers and stuff aren't joining. I know Sibsy, I believe, left after season 5, I think Sibsy, that or what she left during season 4. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, I wish those guys all the best, and I hope that many of them were like, yeah, I'd be open to coming back and writing more for the show. But we've got a whole bunch of new writers and stuff, and I'm really interested to see what comes of this season. But anyway, guys, I think that's enough for one day of Pokin' Ponies. So anyway, if you want to add me on the My Little Pony game from Gameloft, here is my friend code. It is 0145. That's 0145. But anyway, guys, I'm Ultramatic64. If you want to check out the My Little Pony game from Gameloft, there's a link in the description down below for the iOS, Android, and Amazon versions. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye.